reshoot it because they didn't like that it was the way it was. They wanted it didn't feel Star Wars enough. It was starting to feel too much of a war picture, and those characters were great, and they had to die. They had to die,
right?
But in terms of originality, that seems like that's the most original one we're getting, and the rest of them now are like hedging your bet.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that one was real popular. Let's go back to that one. That character. Everybody loved that character. They'll watch that movie. It's like the Star Trek thing that we were talking about before we started with Discovery. Oh, they'll buy it. It's got the Star Trek name on it.
And I know I'm guilty of it. Like, I usually will get almost anything Star Wars. Doesn't mean I'm going to praise it or read it a second time or see it multiple times.
Right.
And I do like some terrible things, and I'm willing to admit they're terrible. I love me some Ewok movie Battle of Endor. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what...
right to the top of the terrible. Okay.
No. Caravan of Courage is above that, and then there's the holiday special. They're two tiers above Battle of Endor. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. Let's not talk about the Holy Grail of that one animated scene. But we're talking about B. Arthur as a frickin' bartender singing, and then the Wookiee Life Day song. And look, Harry and the Hendersons had more believable Wookiees. But like Han Solo's backstory, I've said it millions of times. I'm gonna say it again. We don't need his upbringing. He's like, you put it in book form, cool, because you can develop more. But in a movie that's spanning 6 years, what character growth is there? Well, he was we're getting the little Anakin Skywalker story, but with Han Solo, like, he was such a good kid, and then he turned jaded and mean and got into crime. And then because by the time we see him in A New Hope, he's arrogant, brash, and selfish. What kind of person steps into a freaking booth and just points at himself and goes, Han Solo? And straight face, not like, I hear you need transport or anything like that. Let me introduce myself. Just, the gloves too that are open like the 80s, 70s driving gloves with just Han Solo. Cool. All right, Dick.
Yeah,
glad you found
this
that.
is a jackass.
Yeah. He has that allure, though, that mysterious.
Which is fine, but like, I really don't want to see his backstory either, because whatever they come up with, it's gonna be like half of the movies will be him in the orphanage, his child, and just have a shitty life, and then
we know they're friends
and smuggling, and then
smuggling.
But there was that storyline everybody always liked that was just agreed upon that's been thrown out the window. That he was in the Imperial Academy. He saw Wookiees being treated as slaves. He was partly raised by a female Wookiee. He said, I ain't having none of this. Rescues Chewbacca, leaves them. That's his first run-in with Boba Fett. Works for the Hutts. Like, there was this whole storyline. Everybody's like, yes, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
And now it's like, we're gonna completely change all this. So we know he's got to.
I've been with Harrison Ford since the beginning. Stupid idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When your guy who made the role famous says, "Don't do it." But then again, his judgment is called into question because he is starring in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, I was going to say he's willing to remake that one. That was like, do you think he's more passionate about that role for some reason?
He never really talked about it.
Right? Like, I didn't think he cared.
It could be this stigma behind Star Wars. I mean, even Carrie Fisher would talk about it.
Yeah. But see, I'd rather have a young Princess Leia movie starring Millie Bobby Brown, who was 11 on Stranger Things. As a young Princess Leia, give us that where she's...
I'd watch that.
Yeah, see, because that's a character that is much more layered. It has much more going for it, especially like how does she find out she's adopted? Not that how does she find out who her real parents are, because she doesn't find out who her real dad is until way later.
Until she kisses her brother.
Yeah.
I mean?
No, it's a year after she kisses her brother. The last time she kissed her brother, she kissed him multiple times.
Keep her line pure.
But like there's that you have stuff where like in Return of the Jedi where she talks about her memories of her mother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, how did that happen?
I know.
Can
Did
we?
she just get dropped off like Luke did, or
No, she got taken at birth.
Right.
So, her adopted father, Bail Organa, knew her mother
Right.
really well. They were
Right.
friends.
Yeah.
Like,
as we know,
Can
he
we-
was in Rogue One, right?
can we hear some dialogue? Can we show her getting trained? How does she get indoctrinated into the rebellion? I mean, some of the stuff's coming out in the book right now that just came out on Force Friday, but there's rich opportunity in there.
Right.
But everybody's just like, prequels didn't have a Han Solo character, that's why they failed. So here, we're going to give all Han Solo all the time.
And this would be a social commentary too. The whole thing with women and media and
Oh yeah, they flipped out over that.
they freaked out about Wonder Woman. You know, there's all this talk about continuing to push Captain Marvel back, and it's this whole. That's just a touchy.
Did you either of you hear of Forces of Destiny, the YouTube Lucasfilm 2-minute shorts that were focused on the females of Star Wars and giving them little fun? Like they're really good, and they were geared towards like 6 to 8 year old girls,
Yeah.
and super good, fun. One of them. There's a couple like artistic choices, or I'm just like, when did Anakin Skywalker get pouty lips with frickin' lipstick, and when did Chewie looks terrible? Chewie just, yeah. Well, I mean, come on, Hayden. Have you seen that new hot toy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, goddamn. But people were online were going nuts saying Star Wars needs to be about boys too, and it's like, were you not alive for the past 40 years? But no, they were going off on it, and then they're like, oh, and look at these dolls they're put out for it. Like, people, like, you try to encourage women that it's okay to be collectors too, so they're gearing stuff towards that market. Like, I don't know, good business.
Right.
They're just like, first there was Rey, now there's Jen, and now we're getting all this other stuff.
Yeah. Why aren't you continuing to market to me when I'm not actually out there buying all this stuff?
I'm a 40-year-old fat white man who's sitting in my basement. Market to me. Well, they're talking about Jabba.
I mean, they've been marketing. That it goes along with a lot of the problems that, you know, with the Wonder Woman thing. You know, they decided to have Mondo actually decided to have
the private screening.
The private screening, and then the men's activists got real upset about it. And it's like, dude, you've got your gentleman clubs and all this other
You've
stuff.
got every other movie.
Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's sort of, you know, you don't have to buy the stuff. The women are buying the tits and ass stuff because they don't want it. You don't have to buy this stuff.
But then there were also, I guess, then there were the toxic masculinity that was encouraging some of the female perspective that Gal Gadot got for being Wonder Woman, for being, she's not the appropriate size, or she doesn't look right, or she's an Israeli, or there's any number of things where you're just like, this is why we can't have nice things, people, on both sides. Like, can we just stop and shut up and celebrate?
Can we just be happy what's happening?
Yeah. Like, can I please? Here's the cake, and I want to eat it too.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, don't quit ruining things, people.
So, those are fair topics, fair points for both of y'all, but I feel like I had something to say about what we were just talking about, and I forgot, so can you bring me back?
We were doing playing it safe, Han Solo, not needed. Boba Fett, Princess Leia could have been a better young story.
Yes, that's what it was. The Princess Leia with Millie, that would be an amazing story. I agree with you, man. I would watch the hell out of that. Especially, like, because you can even get into how she got into, like, politics of her role, you know, because the politics of Star Wars have always interested me, because it's such, it's like watching Sopranos and Game of Thrones mixed together.
Yeah.
watching those politics. But when you brought it up, I was also thinking about this Jabba movie. And I'm like, how the hell can you pull something like that off? Like, you're just gonna make different young or different age Bob people?
Well, he could walk in the
He scooted. He, you know, like
scooted around,
Yeah, I know, but it's like,
or Han walked around.
No, but it was.
and-
But what is he gonna do? What action could he actually do?
right, like, what are we gonna be watching?
Are we watching like a pre-Phantom Menace young Jabba building his empire? But I mean, the Hutts. They're giant clan. There's multiple of them. Like,
Right?
it's. I don't see how it can be a dynamic story.
This
You know,
is what I'm saying. Like, this is like
unless you're having him be Brando, and we're doing the
That's right.
Godfather.
The Godfather. That's what I was thinking. I was like, we got to be doing the Godfather.
Yeah, they gotta be. He's just been sitting there and
Yeah.
Just see him like licking one of the henchmen, like you betrayed me.
Bring your Twi'lek. She will dance for me,
I'm
and
not-
then I will feed her to the ring.
I'm not gonna lie, I probably would not.
I'd go see it once.
Yeah.
I might rent it.
How did that get put on the importance ladder?
I don't know. I don't know. Like that's why it raised that question of, are we playing it too safe? Are we afraid of taking a risk because it might fail?
Right.
Which is why, because of the success of The Force Awakens and the success that Rogue One had, them moving Han Solo to May, the rush timeline, I've said it before they even fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller as directors, that I think it's the first Star Wars movie that's not going to crest $1 billion worldwide. And because pretty much you're trying to open in China over the summer where they have restrictions, you ain't going to get to premiere until maybe a 2-week window in August.
Yep.
And them fuckers love the Transformer movies. And they've never liked Star Wars. So,
So what does that tell you?
I think it's a bad idea, and I think this playing it safely. And the antithesis of that is a fucking young Yoda movie.
Yes, let's open that can.
I am so vehemently against a young Yoda movie. Now, I'm not going to go on and say George Lucas is the holy grail, the maker. We should never, thou shalt not speak any bad about the flannel. You know, I'm not going to speak that, but when he was in the prequels, they were like, oh, are we going to finally know what Yoda species is? No. Are we going to finally figure out where he's from? No. Why not? Well, because it's not important to the story. And you have to have mystery. And he's 900 years old. You know, what happened? You know.
Right.
Sorry, that was my bad George Lucas impersonation.
Better than mine.
Gotta do it right. You know. But it was that character you don't need to do anything with. Naming his species now that it doesn't come from George Lucas or any of the original creators. Showing his homeworld, providing more of them. There was an extra one in The Phantom Menace called Yaddle, a female on the council. Didn't go over well. Never appeared again. Take that as a sign that there's if you did an Old Republic trilogy, right? You set it in the way back, like Tales of the Jedi, early Jedi era, Sith War, Mandalorian War, any of that stuff way in the back, and you have him there as a tertiary character where you're like, that looks like a young Yoda that just walked across the back of the screen. Fantastic!
That would go over pretty well over an entire movie of
And it's
900 years crammed into however long they make.
Why? Why do it?
To the children.
If that's the case, if it's the children, make the fucking Ewok movie.
100% it's the children, because children love the Clone Wars version Yoda.
Oh yeah,
They love the Phantom Menace and the crap free movies. They love that Yoda because he was fast, he was around. They liked his character, he's little, talks funny.
Do you want a whole movie of him carrying a movie with that speed?
It
No.
literally is.
No, I do
It's
not.
a tiny Muppet.
Unless-
Kids love the tiny.
Unless the big secret is like he talked to, like everybody else until this thing happened.
Until all of a sudden he got hit on the head.
He took one lightsaber to the dome and it was like backwards feet.
Backwards speed.
That's what he got to 300. He had a good run, and then boop. Actually, no.
I wonder how much of that was George Lucas and how much of it was
Frank Oz.
Frank Oz ad-lib.
I think if you go back to the original script, he always had Yoda speaking backwards, but it was originally I think the intent was that it was supposed to be a boy.
Yeah.
It was like because Luke comes in and he's playing the affable idiot, he's
Right.
and Luke fails the test. That's his first test. But then they're just like, no, the speak works. Let's just leave it that way.
Going with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Yoda, I do, but I don't see didn't necessarily Yoda. Like, if you want to get the kids maybe at Ewoks or a new species or a new.
Well, I think
It's a big galaxy.
there's going to be a new species in the upcoming movie, right? What are they called?
They're called the Forks.
Forks.
And
there
they
we
are
go.
damn cute.
Yeah, they look adorable. They're
I want a
new, though,
plushie.
right? I'm not crazy.
No,
right?
they're brand new. They're
Okay.
plushy. They have plushies of them. Like I want a stuffed pork.
Well, did you see the Funko Pop Chewbacca holding a fork?
Yeah, and then there's 3 other